Hey guys, what's up? It's 412 Sportscards here today, back with another video, and today I'm coming at you with a new one on is this the sports card market crashing for good? Is that what's happening right now? We all know the huge correction going on in the basketball GOAT market. Does this mean we're seeing the end game for card prices, the final fall in them that many people have been worried about and have talked about? We're going to get into it today. We're going to talk about why it might be a big endgame type crash, why people are saying that, and maybe why it's not. We're going to give you a holistic approach in this video, but without further ado, let's get into it. From a GOAT perspective, it has been catastrophic these past months. The Jordan Fleer PSA 10 down from about 710,000 to 470,000. Insane drop in the super high end, 31.67%. And since February 8th, we've seen the Jordan Fleer 9 lose 63%, the 8 lose 50%, the Kobe Topps Chrome 1996 PSA 10 rookie, 45K down to 35K. The Topps Chrome LeBron rookie, PSA 10, down from 45K to 22K. Huge drops. Worth noting that Kobe has been a lot more resilient than the LeBron. I would make note of that. I think that's an interesting point. But with how much the market revolves around the performance of these three guys, Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, it does send off signals of a market crisis. These are the guys that people put their money in, and when the run-up was going on, is because people said, okay, if this is all going to come crashing down, these guys won't come crashing down. And then what are we seeing right now? They're being destroyed. That's really scary for people who park their money in late January, early February. And these guys, even mid-February, have been absolutely killed. And considering that's what was supposed to be safe, it really sounds the alarm bells, right? Are we seeing the end of strong card prices for good? These are the guys that aren't supposed to go down. And they're plummeting. Huge, and I'm losing all my money. I put my money in stuff that was supposed to be safe. I'm losing half of my money in a month and a half. Cards are doomed. That's what people are saying out there. And I don't think they're insane to call it a crash if that's all they're exposed to. 50% in 1.5 months, absurd. And the timing is not the best, right? It's as COVID vaccines are being rolled out, as COVID cases are declining in the country. You've heard me on here talking about it. I've been saying for a while, I'm worried about what the card market is going to look like post-COVID, when COVID is not impeding our usual lives, and we're spending more of our time on social activities that, one, take time, and two, take our money. Both our time and our money being in cards so much has mattered a lot. It's been a big reason for the growth. I wonder what things will look like afterwards. The fact that these huge sell-offs, not only in what people thought was bulletproof, but also at a time when people are very wary about falling prices because of them thinking maybe this is the prophecy, that's playing out, that when COVID goes away, cards are going to go down. It's spooked a lot of people. I think it's intensified some of the sell-off. My third point, kind of already talked about, the GOATs were meant to be safe. It eroded so much confidence, I think, that when the GOAT market started to collapse after the big run-up, that I think that's why people are spooked. That's why people are saying this is the end game. Now, before I get into the reasons that this might not be the case, stick around, please. I would like you guys just to drop a like and drop a sub. If you're watching, you support me. I really appreciate all of you. And you know what? I appreciate even more you guys can drop a like or a sub. Go that extra step for me, and I'll keep the content coming for you guys. How about that? I appreciate you all. So the arguments against this being a huge market crash, and some things that I've been thinking about, because I've been trying to be patient as these GOAT prices have been falling. I've been trying to keep my head, and you know as well as I do, I own a decent amount of GOATs. I got a Kobe auto. I got a LeBron Bowman Chrome. I have other LeBron stuff like this, which is, I don't know, I don't really tie it that much to this stuff. I have a Jordan Nike promo. That's lost 66 to 70% now off its peak. I'm still in at a basis that I'm still in money, but that's a ton of money off the table for me, ton of potential profit. But here's what I've thought of as I've tried to rationalize everything that's going on. Point one, the GOATs aren't the whole market. Many people like myself can have tunnel vision. They can look at basketball GOATs, Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, and think, okay, That's what the market is. However they move is how the entire sports card market is moving. And that's blatantly not true. You look around, there are other sports, other players. The market is so much wider than that, and you got to have an open mind. If you look around, you'll see many cards that have killed since February 8th when I discussed those Jordans and LeBron and Kobe's going from like 30 to 50 or 30 to 60% down. We look at Zion Williamson, Silver Prism PSA 10s. They're up from $600 or 15% over that time. Luka Silvers base. I'm just showing off this emergent I got back from PSA. It's pretty cool. Pulled it back in 2018. Just got it graded for fun. But anyways, his base Prism Silver PSA 10 up 5% or $400 over that same time frame. James Harden, Topps paper rookie from 2009 Topps PSA 10 up 130% or $4,000 over that time span. Erling Haaland, Topps Chrome rookies are up 300%. They went from $900 to $3,800 over that time span, showing us that soccer market is booming. And Kyler Murray, base Prisms up 20% over that same time point. And now while Zion and Harden and Luka are examples of players who performed really well and their performance has slowly ticked their prices up, the entire soccer market's been on fire. Haaland is the biggest one, but that soccer market has been booming while the GOATs have been selling off. If you have your mind and your tunnel vision only in basketball GOATs, you would not know that that's going on over there. And I think that with how intelligent the modern card investor is nowadays, they're not in just one sport most of the time. I mean, it's a fault of mine that I operate mainly in basketball, but I like to keep my eyes on what's going on elsewhere just so I can predict trends. Soccer's booming right now, guys. And you know what else is? Football. A lot of football quarterbacks have started to see a strong uptick. Kyler Murray in particular has been doing pretty well. Not to mention vintage baseball, which has been on a slow and steady uptick this whole time as the GOATs of basketball have been selling off. Those vintage baseball GOATs, they've been on the rise. And that's a sector that I think you should look at if you were put off by the GOATs of basketball, LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, collapsing in price, and you invested because you're like, these guys aren't meant to go down. They're meant to just go up over time. You might sacrifice some expected return. The expected return might be a little lower, but vintage baseball, man, that stuff goes up slowly but surely, and it really just has not come down. I've been in vintage baseball for over 6 years now. 6 years. And really, it's just a slow and steady climb. You feel safe in it, and it slowly increases in value. That might be a better place to consider. Think about that. But point two, point one was us talking about the GOATs aren't everything. Basketball GOATs aren't anything. We got other things like other basketball players, soccer, football, vintage baseball. Those other sectors, they're performing well. The market can't be totally crashing, right? And point two is it's unfair to say that those high-end sales softening are dictating the entire market. Lots of us don't have the money to be in those cards that are tens of thousands of dollars. It's the prices of those falling. That's not necessarily the best barometer for what the health of the card market looks like for the common man. We don't necessarily operate in those circles. It matters. It's not everything to us. Point three. This is my biggest one. You guys got to look at this and you got to compare it to August. If you think about it, not only did we see prices plunge badly in August, but what we saw was much worse than what we're seeing now. It was cross-sport. Right now we're talking about exclusively basketball, but then it was prices of almost all the sports falling, and that should have scared us way more than it did. And it gives me solace that what we're seeing right now is largely isolated to basketball and largely isolated to a certain type of player, a type of player that ran up really fast recently. Now, that's huge in my opinion. That said, if some of this stuff can't find a floor and keeps plunging, I would be worried. I might be sounding the panic bell. But when we're talking about the market crashing, we're saying, is this the end game for sports cards? You would expect to see all sports plunging. That's not what we're seeing right now. You should take solace in that, and that is my main reason why I think that this is not the end for sports cards. The prices will rebound. I do genuinely believe that because it is isolated to a certain sport and a certain subset of players within that sport. So, what are the takeaways? What are you guys going to take away from this video? I think it's something I need to work on too, but if you're in this market, you can really win by diversifying across sports. When one sport might be down, another might be on the uptrend. If you can capitalize on that, you're aware of it, you can make a ton more money. You can make a killing rotating out of stuff falling, putting it in the stuff that's going up. And this is not the end game yet, and I think a pullback that we are seeing in these GOATs is healthy. If you have the money, riding and you're nervous, it's natural, right? Being skeptical is healthy, and it's evidence that you aren't being foolish and you aren't being reckless with your money. You're skeptical, and a little bit of skepticism is healthy, keeps you evaluating your investments, keeps you on your toes, keeps you making good, thoughtful progress. But anyways, that's it for me today on this video, and I'll catch y'all next time.